Hello, my name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and tonight we're speaking with bass player Eric Sykes. And of course, Eric, you're in the AC/DC tribute band Back in Black, based out of Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I guess the best place to start the interview off is, Eric, is how did you first get into the music of AC/DC?
It was probably the premier band that made me want to play music, to be quite honest with you. I started playing guitar at the age of 13, and the Back in Black album was something I think some older kids were listening to on a little boombox on the cassette on the hood of a car one maybe Saturday night when I was just walking the streets of the neighborhood. Then I had a friend who was in one of my classes who had been playing guitar for a couple of years, and AC/DC was his favorite band. He actually had an SG Gibson guitar, and he could play their music, and I thought he was the coolest guy ever, even though he was, just my age in one of my classes. And so anyway, that's how it started, you could say. It was just one of the first bands I ever heard.
Yeah.
And it became one of my favorites of all time.
Okay, and I guess the next logical question is, why did you make the decision to go a route of a tribute band rather than being a band where you'd write and record your own original music?
All right, how much tape you got?
As much as you want.
Yeah. I actually do lots of other things besides the tribute band. I've been a musician for 20, we're going on 30 years now. I've done lots of different stuff.
Okay.
I've done country. I basically made my decision to be a professional musician many years ago because that would be the only way I could play it every day and still survive.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, some people can be a deadbeat and go into bad credit or, live with someone that pays the bills. I decided to be a professional musician. So I've done lots of different stuff. Now, this band has been around 15 years. Back in Black, the Dallas, Texas Back in Black has been around 15 some odd years. Quite the story there. I've only joined up with them in December. It'll be 2 years.
Wow.
So, to answer your question, to be a professional rock musician nowadays, you almost don't have a choice but to be in a tribute band. Now, in regards to writing my own stuff, being in a band, I'm 42 years old now, sir.
Yeah.
And I still write. I still play in other bands. I did try to do the whole thing, but it always came down to how can I make a living? And it always became playing covers, teaching, just whatever came my way, I would say I could do it. Can you sing? Yes, I can sing. Can you play bass? Yes, I can play bass.
Wow.
You just say yes to everything because you want to make some money so you can keep playing your guitar.
There you go. Now you mentioned that you're in the Back in Black, based out of Dallas, Fort Worth, and that's interesting because for the last few years there was a Back in Black band down here in Los Angeles where I'm from, and I think they've kind of folded up. But do things like that ever become a problem for you, where where you might advertise a date and people think they're going to actually be seeing a different tribute band than the band they're actually seeing?
It's a really good question. It has happened. Okay, and honestly, no one wants a rivalry like that.
Yeah.
This band has definitely stood the test of time. I mean, we've actually played a benefit for the singer Brian Johnson. It was before my time, but we played a benefit for his foundation in Florida. So some bands come and go in regards to a tribute.
Yeah.
There's other AC/DC tributes. One in particular, like there's a Back in Black in Atlanta.
Wow.
And we play Atlanta quite often, So we have a truce there. It's all good because honestly, we'll sub out for one another when someone needs it.
Wow.
And not every member can make every gig.
Yeah.
So it is in everyone's best interest to keep it cool and all that, whatever, because you're going to need each other at one point. And the bottom line is we all love AC/DC, so boom.
Yeah, and really, like you're talking about being a professional musician, trying to actually, I imagine, like you said, you've tried to make it doing your own original thing. But how much fun is it doing the AC/DC thing? I mean, first of all, you get up on stage playing to a packed audience. These songs that you grew up on, these songs that influenced you. That's got to just make it so much fun.
It is. I can't describe it. I mean, again, I've been playing music for close to 30 years. This is the biggest crowds I've ever played in front of. Music that I love.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be looked at in different ways.
Yeah.
The bottom line is we are paying tribute. We love this band. We do not want to replace them.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But, excuse me. I mean, it's financially secure. It's a ton of fun. I like the guys I'm playing with. That's another big deal, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta like who you're playing with. We've traveled the world. I'm making more money now in this band than I ever had in my life, and I'm playing music that I love. Now, I'm a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing bass off and on for years and years and years. This becoming a full-time band thing for me, I've learned more as a musician. It's made me a better musician, playing bass in this band, learning the intricacies, the groove, the less is more technique of AC/DC, hitting in the pocket with that drummer. So besides the financial part, besides it's fun, it's made me a better musician, and you can't replace that.
Yeah, and I would think too, like you said, it allows you to keep up your musical chops for the simple fact that you're probably at a point in doing the tribute thing that you know these songs. So while you guys probably, I'm sure, rehearse from time to time, you can go on the stage and perform and be pretty confident in your ability to perform these songs. And the fact that you perform so much, it must help you keep your musical chops up.
Absolutely. This band is so tight and so talented. We're all professional musicians. In other words, we've all been in other bands for years and years. Don't get me started on the talent of this band. So the bottom line is, at this point, we really don't rehearse anymore. We might every once in a while, but it's like, hey, learn this new song for the gig this weekend. We'll play it at sound check, and we'll play it that night.
Yeah.
Because we're playing it just like they do. Now, there's exceptions when we're doing like a live version of something. They have lots of extended songs. And through the years, there might be a different Brian Johnson version, and then there was a Bon Scott, vice versa, Bon Scott version, then a Brian Johnson version. So we gotta rehearse to make sure we know what we're gonna do. We gotta communicate.
Yeah.
But if it's just like learn high voltage for this weekend, boom, learn it, hit it, sound check, and go.
Yeah, because actually, I got to tell people, in setting up this interview, you and me kind of met online last night, and we're kind of discussing doing this, and you actually responded to another interview I was posting that I posted on the site with another AC/DC tribute called Bonfire. They're based out of here in LA, and obviously by the name Bonfire, they specifically concentrate on the Bon Scott era of AC/DC, and you kind of wrote me back and said, actually, I'm in an AC/DC tribute band, and we do both era bands. So that's one thing I think you guys got to offer your audience, people come to the show, because a lot of AC/DC tributes, they either do the Brian Johnson era or they do the Bon Scott era. So I think it's great that you guys are offering your audience that.
Man, again, the talent of this band is amazing. We have one singer who can pull off both genres.
Yeah.
Besides the moves, besides the voice, he's kind of got a look in between the two as well.
Yeah.
And he's a great front man. He's a great singer. He's in shape. He's a good guy to be around. And I'll call it what you want, but that's definitely what stands us apart. But also his workhorse attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of these, with respect, these voices are not easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, not your average voice. And for him to be able to do it, we'll play 4 nights in a row every once in a while, and he can still do it. It's not easy, but to have that growl going and still have a voice to sing.
Yeah, and another misconception people, I think, have about AC/DC in particular is even a lot of people have a misconception listening to AC/DC music that every song, it sounds the same, it's based on the same 3 chords. But in talking to other musicians that, or in other AC/DC tributes, I've been told these songs are not as simple as people think they are to play. Has that been your experience?
Absolutely. Now, what's difficult is to get it tight. I mean, especially now, they're doing like different riffs kind of and stuff. I mean, like 2 different guitar parts going at one time. This is the newer albums. And the bottom line is you gotta have that groove. You gotta be in the pocket, as far as the rhythm section. And then even timing, walking up to the mic and stuff like that. I gotta be careful I'm not messing up the bass line, coming and going, or running into the Angus for that matter.
Yeah.
Running all over the place.
Yeah.
So besides all that, now these songs definitely are gonna teach you about music in general.
Uh-huh. You
can do so much with so little, and hardly. You can say AC/DC sounds pretty much the same every album. No song is the same for AC/DC.
Yeah.
They change it up.
Yeah, and again, that's a misconception many people have. Now, like just looking on your website for a Back in Black band, I gotta say the pictures and everything you guys got up there are really flashy and professional looking. So I can tell all the time you've taken into trying to really get the look and the sound down.
Absolutely, and that website's going to be updated here in a month or so, and it's gonna be explosive, sir. I mean, we've got amazing things coming up in the new year, a whole new relaunch of the website, new pictures, links to everything, Twitter. We have promo videos going to be up there now. We're definitely taking it to another level, and that is one of the other challenges if you think about it, because it's easy to get lazy and to get stale. I mean, every show, and these guys, before my time, every show they have played Shook Me On It Long and Back in Black for 15 years.
Wow.
I mean, let's face it, it can get old and stale and tired, but the bottom line is to keep it fresh, move things along, change it up, change the set list, get new gigs, get new people to them. We've become way more social media savvy for that matter. So let's just say the music itself can get a little old, but then we've just got to find ways to reinvent it for ourselves.
Yeah. Eric, the interesting thing in doing these interviews with several tribute bands, one thing I found is it seems like there's just a million of different AC/DC tribute bands, not just all across the U.S., but all across the world. I mean, I think they're probably the most tributed band, even more than Led Zeppelin. I was kind of amazed to find that out.
We've played with a lot of them too. We play a lot of festivals. We've met a lot of the the Led Zeppelin guys, and we know some of the other AC/DC guys. There's even online you meet these people constantly, and I just become friends with them. I mean, we might as well swap stories or whatever. I mean, there's a I think it was AC/DC. That was an all-female AC/DC tribute band for a while, and then there's another one, and I want to say maybe Sweet, an all-female AC/DC tribute, and to each his own, man.
Yeah.
It's fun. Everyone's taking their own spin on it.
Yeah, and the cool thing for you, I imagine a guy who does Angus, he has to really look more of a part for him, say like you. So do you think there's not as much pressure on you to look the part as say the guy doing Angus?
You have a very good point there. He does all the exercises. He hardly eats just to make sure he can stay fit. He has to keep his cardio level up. And we're all getting older.
Yeah.
But growing up, just as a total separate scenario, where I was always told I looked like the bass player for AC/DC, and I've always had the hair. And for me, granted, I got a little bit of a look. I mean, he's not a hard guy to look like.
Yeah.
So about the bass, I got a couple of the shirts, and I was pretty ready to go. Other guys have to wear wigs, etc. Luckily, I'm in a pretty fit, but I definitely keep that in mind as well. I want to look the part. I want to be Cliff Williams. I love that. I love it.
And again, like you're saying, before you started doing this, you were actually already an AC/DC fan. And who isn't? But I got to ask you, they'll be releasing a new CD next month, December 2nd, I think is the release date. Will you be checking out the new album? Any chance you guys will be throwing any of those new tunes into the set?
I've already learned the two that have been released. We've already learned them, but we decided not to. Our gigs right now aren't really. We've got a lot of private functions, and on December 27th, we're playing a special show. We're playing the full Back in Black album. So
cool.
There hasn't been much opportunity to work in the new material. Some people were arguing that we should wait till AC/DC releases it before we play it.
Yeah. That's.
There's also some controversy of if people are going to like the new songs. I mean, arguably, if we like them, great. If the audience doesn't, that means something. And so if it's going to bring the show down, obviously we'll play them. Hopefully they have some longevity. Some of it's brand new like this. And the two that have been released have already been out, I guess, a couple of months in the play ball. They've been using it on TV.
Yeah.
And, again, word of mouth. We've heard from other AC/DC tributes that song does not go over well for the public.
I'm kind of surprised because, We
just have to see what happens. We do that all the time if you think about it. We'll play. We can't wait for the new material. We're going to play it for sure. But if it doesn't work for the show, that's something to think about.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, just being an AC/DC fan, it's a hard thing to say, but what do you think about the band's decision to carry on without Malcolm Young?
Side note, I definitely want to talk about that, but I don't know if every AC/DC tribute has the same ideas in regards to this, but it breaks our hearts.
Yeah.
Me specifically, to think of anything happening to one of any member of any band that's just so iconic.
Yeah.
And it kills us to see what's going on with Phil, the drummer.
Yeah.
And everything. So by no means, some people are like, dude, what's going on with AC/DC, man? You guys are totally going to replace them, or you should replace,
Oh, wow.
Get your drummer to go audition. I don't want to hear that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay? But for the record, and this is what they've stated, keep up with the news, Malcolm would have wanted them to go on.
Yeah.
And complete coincidence, the first show I ever saw was the tour when I was, I guess, around 16. It was the Blow Up Your Video tour. And Malcolm could not attend that tour. He was wanting to get his drinking under control. So Angus's nephew filled in for him back then.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it again now. So he's family. He's just one of the family. He's done it before. That's what they would have wanted. It's their 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
They're going to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
They've got a new album and a new tour. And honestly, they might not be able to keep going at this point, but at least they're toughing it out. They're bringing it because we all want it. So, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Do it on that.
Yeah, as a fan, I'm kind of cheering the band on, because I got to admit, when I first heard that Malcolm was no longer in the band, he fell ill and couldn't do it anymore, I was kind of interested to see what the stuff was going to sound like, because, him and Angus wrote all this stuff, all these years. I'm like, man, how's that going to affect the sound? And amazingly enough, when I heard Play Ball, I thought, they stayed pretty true to AC/DC sound, and I got to tip my hat for them to even, try to carry on. But like you said, it's their 40th anniversary, and I guess if this may or may not be their last tour, time will tell. But at least if it is, they're giving us one more new album, and they're going out with a bang.
Absolutely. Now, and a lot of people also don't know how much Malcolm did contribute. Angus would go to Malcolm and run his ideas by him, and he would say yes or no, he liked that. Malcolm contributed so much more. For the song Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
that chant they've got, Malcolm came up with that. So he definitely has always been intricate. And yes, the new music is still holding true. A lot of these riffs, a lot of these ideas were things they've been working on before his illness.
Yeah.
He obviously still was able to contribute through the years, but not able to play.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. But and again, So do you plan to get the new AC/DC album or go see the guys on tour when they're out there touring this year?
Absolutely. Oh my God, I can't wait. I didn't pre-order it. I don't like to download. I want to have the album in my hand. I think you can pre-order right now.
Yeah.
I just got to be patient, wait till I see it in the store. We are very lucky to have an in with definitely, the band is all going to be able to go to the AC/DC. As soon as they come to Dallas, we're all going to go. We're going to probably rent a limo, make it a huge event. They did that before my time, the Black Eyes tour. I mean, all the guys went, had a great time. Can't wait to do it. Support them as much as we can. Love to meet the guys at one point or another. I got so many little bucket list things, but we will be there.
And let me ask you now, you said you've been with the band, they've been around for 15 years, you've been with the band the last 2 years. When you first joined the band, was there any kind of like hazing going on, you being the new guy, or did you feel at home right away?
Well, again, no. If nothing else, one thing, the band's not really like that.
Yeah.
It really is a family, and I was in another band, a generic 80s tribute band. And we actually opened for Back in Black like 6 years ago.
Wow.
And then, complete coincidence, when my band was going away due to various reasons, I got to sub for Back in Black just as a one-time deal. I was just a sub on bass. And I went in with an attitude because I own every album, I know the songs, I wanted this gig big time, I wanted to just kick ass and take names. And so I went in and did a good job on the rehearsal / the gig. Then it turned turned into another gig, and then literally a week later, whatever, they offered me the gig full time. And so there's not really per se hazing, but there was definitely getting to know each other. There was new personalities. I freaked out a little bit over a couple of things I didn't know ahead of time. I mean, certain members of the band are kind of crazy. And so my true colors have shown. So the bottom line is, though, they've been through so many things at this point, you know, they know how to roll with it. So I just was working with them. But the bottom line is, it is nice to have a band that is like a family, and we always have each other's backs. You know, we go to parties together. We talk on the phone. You know, it's really cool. So all good, man.
And so, you know, and you brought up the point earlier, but one thing I really dig about the tribute bands is they all seem to be like a fraternity where, you know, the tribute bands, rather than if you were in an original band where you'd be competing with other bands, they all seem to like help each other out. And has that been your experience?
More or less, yes. Again, there's a couple of things that come up from time to time.
Yeah.
I won't get specific.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's really, it's not that big a deal. It's easy to also feel threatened if you're in a rivalry band. But in general, the tribute scene is what's so camaraderie driven. I mean, it's such a great thing when we get to hang out with other bands, tribute bands, and some of them are kind of up and coming, and some of them really look up to us. They want us to, you know, take them under our wing, and we do the best we can. We've been to California several times playing, man. We played with tons of True Crew. We played out there with our friends, you know, and we've done lots of shows with lots of tribute bands from your area, big time. They got, a lot of the guys came here over the summer to play the big Jack FM, Jack's Throwback tribute festival out here. So we've done a lot of the guys for a long time. So that's what's cool, but not a lot of rivalry or anything like that.
Yeah, and you know, let me ask you, because again, you say that Back in Black as a band has been together for 15 years, and 15 years for any tribute band, that's pretty. You know, you got to be doing something right. You're pretty. That's a good sign that you've been pretty successful. So, what do you think makes you guys stand out, or people really take notice of you as opposed to a lot of other AC/DC tribute bands?
Well, there's definitely a formula. Okay, you've got people that are in bands. Okay, there's tons of them. Every night of the week, you can find someone who's in a band.
Yeah.
Then you've got cover bands. Okay, that's usually the weekend warrior type. Then you've got tribute bands. You got to understand what that is. That is a true tribute, is you becoming the band, or at least playing the music note for note. You don't always have to look the part, but if you can play the music note for note, you're paying tribute. If you can pull the look off and the music, you know, you're doing even better. But then the next level is how far you want to take it. There's not a lot of people wanting to be professional musicians. Sometimes the tribute era, or you know, gets looked down on, you know, because we're jumping on, you know, someone else's feed wagon, if you will. So I get that a little bit, but most people, especially who get a little bit older, you know, the older you get, the more seasoned a musician you get. But then also, the older you get, the more tired you get.
Yeah.
And the more you might enjoy your family life. You want to enjoy your weekends, you know.
Yeah.
You've got responsibilities if you're, you know, living a certain life. So the bottom line is you have to work hard for a long, extended period of time. It's not work hard for a year or two. You know?
Yeah.
If you want to be in a true tribute band and be successful, you decide what your niche is going to be. You learn the music. You're never done learning the music. And then you watch, you learn, you act cool, you be a good guy, a friendly person. You're there to be professional. You don't need to be getting drunk and stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? And you be cool to the people, and you work hard. You're always working. Bottom line, man. It's a lot. You know how hard it is to stay healthy at this point, dude?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. I mean, it's crazy. I'm kind of sick right now. We were out of town over the weekend. It's not as glamorous as it looks. It's not as much fun as it looks because we're working all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it like this, because, you know, me, myself, I'm more of a music fan than anything. I mean, I'm not a musician myself, so right away, anybody that's got the ability to jump up on stage and, you know, beat a drum or strap on a guitar or even sing or whatever, I got you know, so much respect for it, because that's something I could never do, but, you know, it's something I could only dream about. and it takes
Yeah.
a certain amount of practice and dedication, even doing AC/DC to learn those songs. I mean, you've no doubt done your homework, and like you said, that's the difference between a tribute and a cover. And they both got something to offer. A cover band is more, you just jump it up and you might do Deep Purple, might do an Ozzy tune, a Black Sabbath, whatever. But like AC/DC, you guys, you're trying to look the part. It's more than just getting up on your stage and strumming your guitar in your jeans and t-shirt. You're really looking the part. And I mean, best example I can give you is
we studied the videos.
Yeah.
You understand? We copped the moves.
Yeah.
We the bass I have is a 1980, I believe it's an 81 Music Man, and I have been in contact with Music Man about endorsements and everything.
Wow.
Getting artist deals. I mean, we sound. We pay attention to all these things. It's very important.
Yeah, and, I mean, the best example I can give you is, see, I go to a lot of these tribute shows, and I'm just in awe of many of these bands because they're so dead on. I mean, there's this Guns N' Roses tribute out here in Hollywood where I'm from, and called Hollywood Rose. The singer Colby Vale, he's actually played in Steven Adler's band. He was his singer for a while. He's made a ton of money doing the Guns N' Roses tribute. It's allowed him to get his own original music out there, but yet that's where he makes the bulk of the money, doing the Guns N' Roses tribute. I mean, you even got this guitar player I interviewed. His name is Bart Walsh. He was playing in the Atomic Punks out here in Los Angeles, and David Lee Roth discovered him, and he went and played for David Lee Roth's solo band for a few years.
There you go. Absolutely. Look, it's yes. We were in New Mexico playing with an Aerosmith tribute band, and the singer comes up to me. We're talking. He says, "Hey, this is Tony Cavazzo. He's our bass player. He used to play in the band Hurricane." Now, I was a big Hurricane fan growing up, man. Hurricane had 3 albums.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Tony Cavazos is the brother for Carlos Cavazos, who was the guitar player for Quiet Riot all back in the 80s.
Yeah.
He's playing in his tribute. I could not have been more excited to meet this guy.
Yeah.
We were playing at the Hollywood House of Blues with a Cheap Trick tribute band. Who's the singer for that? I'm thinking his name also. The singer for Black and Blues, Jamie St. James, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He had tons of albums in the 80s as well. I mean, look, we all are still, bottom line, it's coming full circle here. We're all just trying to make a living. And everyone has either done albums or they're doing 3 bands at once sometimes, man. You got one band that's allowing you to play in another band. It's giving you money. So the tribute scene is nothing to scoff at by no means.
Yeah, and the best example of how successful you could be is Ralph Sanaz, who's of course the lead singer in Steel Panther now. He was for a while in the Atomic Punks and LA Guns. He actually left LA Guns to go back to the Punks full time because he was making more money doing a David Lee Roth tribute than he was in Tracy Gunn's band, who at one time had videos all over MTV and stuff. He's making more money doing the Atomic Punks, and that just kind of blows your mind when you stop to think about it now. And now he's doing Steel Panther.
100%. I mean, think about, I went to Van Halen last time they were here. I took a date and my daughter. That cost me over $300 to go see Van Halen.
Yeah.
Okay? I love Van Halen. Who doesn't love Van Halen?
Yeah.
You can go see the Atomic Punks, and granted, we're just talking one genre of Van Halen.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much it is to get in. It's probably anywhere $10 to $20, and you have a fun night out with your friends. And they're going to more or less play the, Tom Punk's going to play the hits, and they're going to look the look and act the part. And so there's financial aspect there as well. I mean, some of these bands aren't able to pull it off like they used to. That's fair. That's honest.
Yeah.
But they're still doing it. And a lot of times it's like, okay, the new stuff doesn't do it for me. There's people who like Van Halen. They're literally 3 or 4 albums. Those are the first 4 albums. That's Van Halen for some people, and that's why they'll go see the Atomic Punks.
Yeah, well, and let's not pretend. I mean, I'm as big a Van Halen fan as anybody, but that last album they put out, I like some of the stuff, but it wasn't a classic Van Halen album. Part of the reason for that is, let's be honest, Dave and the brothers are not hanging out like they did when they first met. They probably don't really. The only time they see each other is when they have a tour. When a lot of that last album was old demos and stuff that was already had already been recorded. So that's why that album sounded that way.
The ongoing joke on that is I liked it like 50 51-50.
Yeah.
That's the ongoing joke on that. We're like 50-50, 51-50. I like the guitar work. I didn't really like. Yeah, you're right, man. It just wasn't the same. But hey, again, it was a good enough album for me, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, and you make the point too about, you know, like people that go to your Back in Black show, you know, a lot of people maybe, like you said, they can't afford $100, $200 ticket to go see the real AC/DC. You guys might be the next, you know, next best thing. And I got to tell you, that's how I started doing these interviews. Like I said, I went to see this Guns N' Roses tribute band, Hollywood Rose. The singer looks so dead on like Axl Rose from 1987. I had to pinch myself for a minute. I'm like, am I at a Guns N' Roses show? They were that good. And that's probably as close as you're ever going to get to seeing Slash and Axl on stage, you know, again. And it wasn't the real thing, but like I said, they were that good. It kind of took me back to my teenage years, you know. And that's what I think, if you're a good tribute band, you can provide your audience with, you know.
One thing you can't do is fight time. Every one of these bands has gone through changes. There's not hardly one band out there who has an original members anymore. It doesn't work that way. And they're doing the best they can. I mean, even the Rolling Stones are still making it happen.
Yeah.
But when they come to town, or even, you know, bands like the Eagles, these iconic bands, I can't afford to go see them.
Yeah.
And so you can do the tribute act and have your own niche and work hard and be just, not necessarily just as good, but pull off a certain niche, pull off a certain genre. And you're absolutely right. That's the closest thing we're going to get to Guns N' Roses ever again. Even if they got back together, it would not be the same. It's just because everyone's matured now, but with respect, and not, you know, they're healthier now.
Yeah.
But they're probably not buddies. You know, if you're not hanging around like brotherhood, it comes across on stage.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I'd rather go see a band like you guys. That, like you said, you know, we're really a band of brothers. We really, you know, we're friends. You know, we see each other not just on the days we perform. And I think when you go see bands too, you can feel that love, if you know what I mean, coming from a stage.
Yeah, and we've even gotten to the point now where we know each other good enough. And if it's like a home gig, we'll goof around a little bit. You know how it is. I can't move. I got to stand in one place and wait till I walk to the mic. Well, my legs start falling asleep after a while, you know?
Yeah.
So, I'll run off stage for a second. We can play it down a little bit. If it's a serious gig, you better believe we're falling AC/DC. But when we get a chance to goof around a little bit, like one time we were playing a biker rally in Snyder, Texas, and we were playing the Jack, right?
Yeah.
And they had given us, as part of our rider, a bottle of Jack Daniels, completely on a whim. And I for whatever reason, brought it to the stage. So Mike, they're playing and then all of a sudden you're singing the Jack Daniels. We're like, I got a bottle of Jack Daniels back here. I went and handed him the bottle of Jack Daniels, our singer.
Wow.
And so just I'm just riding that E on the bass, and he just said, oh, cool. And everyone, the place freaks out, right?
Yeah.
Jack Daniels starts drinking the Jack Daniels. And so we just played it off. Like, it was fun. AC/DC wouldn't do that. But, you know, we saw an opportunity to goof around, we'll do.
And last thing I want to ask you, I think you kind of already answered this, but what would you say, it's probably hard for you to do, but what would you say is your all-time favorite AC/DC album?
Oh, I have no problem answering that. The bottom line, to be cliche itself, the first one I came in on, of course, was Back in Black.
Yeah.
That's just me. I was made aware of the Brian Johnson era way before I found Bon Scott. Okay, so I'm not saying it's the best album.
Yeah.
My favorite, my first, you know, let's face it, we play most of that album every show. But the first one I bought was Blow Up Your Video. When I finally found music and realized you could buy it in the store and bands were coming to town. I've been doing that since the age of 13. So at the age of 15, 16, whatever it was, when that AC/DC album came out, I made the effort to go and buy it on cassette.
Yeah.
Heat Seeker was a big song for me. Heat Seeker was a big song. We just put it in the set over the summer. Couldn't have been more excited. So I guess dear to my heart, it was the first one I ever heard, which is Back in Black. The first one I ever bought, which was Blow Up Your Video, and then the coup de grace there, 1990, Razor's Edge.
Wow.
Yes, I was working at a music store at that time. I was in late teens, early 20s. That album came out, and it was a huge resurgence for them. And I was Mr. Die-Hard music at that point. And so those are my three. My favorite one, if I had to say, would probably be Blow Up Your Video, because that was the first one I ever bought.
Wow, and you know, Eric, before I let you go, I just want to say, like you, you know, I want to make the point that you know, AC/DC, thank God, is one of those bands that when the new album does come out, you still can be able to go down to a local Best Buy and find the album. I mean, you know, a lot of people you talk to today, what's a record store? What's a cassette? What's a record? I mean, I miss those days of going to a local record store and, you know, being able to buy all the latest releases. So I'm a lot like you in that way.
I teach a lot of kids nowadays, and no one brings in music. No one. They hand me their phone.
Yeah.
And want to learn this song, and I'm like, there's no guitar there. Oh, I have to have a laptop up there, and I have to pull up the video on YouTube. Dude, I talk about something else that's dying is just the format itself, and I won't let it. I will always buy the actual physical thing, have it in my hand. You're absolutely right. I mean, the way we used to sleep out overnight to get tickets for a show.
Oh, yeah.
The way we used to, you know, we had to go to the mall to get the new album that just came out.
Yeah.
And they'd be sold out. We had to go to the next store and hopefully find it over there. I mean, it's not just the album, it was the process of getting it.
Yeah.
That's not around anymore. And what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, Eric, it's been great talking. I talked to you all night, but I want to really thank you for taking time to do this out of your busy schedule. I know you're 2 hours ahead of me. As soon as the interview goes up, we'll let you know, and maybe we can do this again down the line. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I'll tell you what, I know for a fact we're coming back to California next year sometime. So if we could do it somehow, you know, meet you in person or whatever, or you know, help each other out that way.
That'll work. So thanks again, and I promise I'll be in touch. Thanks for doing this. I can't thank you enough.
Sounds good, man.
Okay, bye-bye.